Right, shalom, shalom. First, I'd like to give all praises unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Waharakah Kadash, and double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and honors to you brothers out there in the highways and the byways teaching this word in all sincerity and in truth. And yeah, famine, man, one of the major judgments, one of the main things that the Lord's going to use to humble the wicked in these last days, man. Famine, famine will really humble a man, really humble a woman. Don't matter how much pride you got, man. When you're starving to death, I've never seen someone that's starving that look proud. Yeah, you get humble, look pitiful as hell. So that's one of the agents that the Lord uses to humble a people, humble a nation. And it's coming in a big way, and it's gonna be a perfect famine. So many different ramifications, man. It's gonna be widespread, man. It's gonna cause a lot of pain and suffering. People ain't ready, man, because the world, especially the West, has been used to such abundance, man. It's gonna be a shock to the system, and already them evils are growing because there are different, obviously when it comes to food, the price of food is always based upon, like any commodity, supply and demand. Now we know that demand ain't gonna change. Well, it will change when a bag of man are dead, but as it stands, there's not a bag of man dead. Yeah, there's billions of people on the earth, right? And more of them getting born every day. Until these max start kicking in, but so there's pretty much steady demand, but what's getting affected is the supply. Okay, and supply can be affected at the source, i.e. the weather, mashing up the crops, right? And you see that happening. We've been talking about it. The grand solar minimum, right? They call it climate change. Try blame it on the CO2. It's the judgment of the Lord. Lord's mashing up the growing seasons and bringing all kind of mad weather. Okay, and that's brocking everything up, and that's been happening steadily for the last decade, and it's getting worse. So that's affecting what? Supply, right? You still got the flooding happening over there in China, right? That's messing up supply, so that's going to affect price. Then you got the workforce being affected because you need labor. The workforce was affected by what? COVID-19. Okay, it affected the workforce. All right, the labor force got disconnected. All right, then add to that you got situations like the Suez Canal. All right, all these things cause shortages, and eventually war is going to cause a cutting off of logistics, yeah, transport, so food can't get from one place to another. Even in the situation where you have martial law, where you have to lock down a city, or you have riots so the food trucks can't drive, or you have a situation where you have a shortage of petrol. Listen, it's going to be all of the above. That's why I like to call it this thing that's about to go down. You name it, it's going to go wrong. It's all going to go wrong. That's why it's going to be madness. They're going to be like, no, I can't believe it. How can all these things be going wrong at the same time? Okay, and it's going to lead to the storehouses being empty. Now there's going to be food around in certain places, and that's why a lot of you people are going to be chewing off your own arms to get that mark of the beast, because the government are going to have their little ration thing going on, and a lot of you are going to sell your soul to try and get a piece of that bread, piece of that Soylent Green, that FEMA biscuit, you understand, that government cheese. Okay, now it says here the grocery price shock is coming to a store near you, right? It says corn, wheat, soybean, vegetable oils. A small handful of commodities form the backbone of much of the world's diet, and they're dramatically more expensive, flashing alarm signals for global shopping budgets. This week, the Bloomberg Agriculture Spot Index, which tracks key farm products, surged the most in almost 9 years, driven by a rally in crop futures, with global food prices already at the highest since mid-2014. This latest jump is being closely watched because staple crops are a ubiquitous influence on grocery shelves From bread and pizza dough to meat and even soda. Soaring raw materials prices have broad repercussions for households and businesses and threaten a world economy trying to recover from the damage of, you know, the thing. They help fuel food inflation, bringing more pain for families that are already grappling with financial pressure from the loss of jobs or incomes. For central banks, a spike in prices at a time of weak growth creates an unwelcome policy choice and could limit their ability to loosen policy. All right. So listen, the dark times are here. They're coming. Okay. People just ain't woke up to that yet. But there's gonna come a time when you ain't gonna be able to ignore it. All right. Yeah. Let's get 2 Ezra, the 6th chapter. The Lord's gonna send them evil arrows of famine, and it ain't the first time. Listen, famine is in the Lord's armory. It always has been. The Lord has always caused dearths in the land. All right. Just to show you who's running things, because the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. He's running this thing. Ultimately, He giveth and He taketh away. That's what people are gonna learn, innit? All right. When there ain't no rain, ain't no rain. I mean, Esau, they say Esau's got the harp and all that shit. Listen, if the Lord don't want no rain, ain't gonna be no rain. I don't give a fuck about your harp. You understand? Sometimes we give Esau too much credit, man. Every time something happens, Esau did. Ain't always Esau, man. All right? Esau don't know everything. You don't know how to do everything. You know? Sometimes they just put that shit out there to gas people up, to make man think that this guy's God or something. Oh yeah, it was Esau. It might not have been. You know? Ultimately, it's always the Lord either way. But fuck Esau, man. Esau ain't all that. Right. 2 Ezra 6 and 22 says, and suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. These farms, these farms, man. Farmers are going out of business for years, hurt. A big farmer just messing them up. Your boy Bill Gates buying up on the land. Okay. Fruitful areas of land getting broke up by storms and tornadoes, and floods, freezing temperatures, you know. Flourishing farms, now what? Desolate. Okay. The full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. Yeah, just like that. Crisis. Which the word crisis goes back to the Greek, which means judgment. Okay. And the trumpet shall give a sound, which when every man heareth, they shall be suddenly afraid. Yeah, because the alarm bells are going to be ringing. Daniel 12:1 settings, man. A time like no other. And that's crazy when you think about it, because there's been a lot of crud throughout the millennia. There's been a lot of madness that's happened on earth, and this is going to be worse than it's ever been. Think about that. Think of all the madness that's happened on earth, the terrible times that's existed, and this is going to be worse than all of that. Boy, oh boy. Listen, man. The Son of Man is lifted up. I suggest you set your eyes upon him, lest you suffer, man. I'm telling you, it's going to be serious, you know. Ice Age farmer, man, he goes into all them weather patterns and the grand solar minimum. This is a phenomenon that's happened throughout, you know, the centuries, and it's happening again. But the Lord controls the alterations of the sun. Mashing up. Look at right now, it's April and it's cold over here in the UK. I'm at work using hot water bottles, man. It's a mad thing. It's April, it's almost May, and it's cold right now. I'm walking, it's cold. I ain't gonna lie, I'm wearing a coat. You know what I'm saying? With duck feathers, you know what I'm saying? It's cold. Mad. Totally mad. Icy. Crazy. You know? 2 Ezra 15, man. That blasting and that hail mashing up the crops. Okay? Hold on, where we at? 15. 2 Ezra 15 and 13, it says, they that till the ground shall mourn For the sea shall fail from the blasting and the hail, with a fearful constellation. Yeah, that weather pattern, man. Growing season's jacked up. Let me see if I can get the Rice Age Farmer, cause he's always, go to his website, you can see the crop loss map. Wait. You see it there? You see all them points? That's all madness that's happening in the earth right now, rocking up the crops. And this has been a constant thing. Look at that. Yeah. So we're in that time, 100%. But the scriptures say, what? My servant shall eat. You know, we're going to be protected from these things as long as you keep faith in Yahweh Shai. That's how we're warning you, because that's really all that's going to matter. That you kiss the Son, that you learn of Yahweh Shai, which whom we teach, and you take it seriously. Because if you don't, when all these things come up on the earth, then you're gonna be buckled in. You understand? You're gonna be buckled in for that ride, all the way off the cliff. So if that, I'm gonna say shalom.